As we've been exploring throughout the day, the world of procurement is rapidly evolving. Our next speaker will continue this thread by discussing his case study on digital procurement success story in private sector. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Saumya Ranjan Behera, a seasoned business leader with over 20 years of experience in business growth, sales, program management, and digital transformation. His expertise spans e-commerce, e-procurement, public procurement, and manufacturing services. Saumya has successfully led business development across India, APAC, and the Middle East, consistently delivering results through inclusive leadership. A mentor at heart, he inspires teams to align with their company's mission while driving impactful change. A lifelong learner, he regularly shares his insights on social media. Welcome to this platform, Mr. Saumya. The floor is all yours. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks a lot, Annie. I would like to thank Dr. Sakya and Mr. Batra also covering in detail about the procurement landscape and the technology that is transforming our procurement landscape. So, warm welcome to ladies and gentlemen. I am Saumya Behera, Vice President, Intellect Design Arena, and I'm the speaker here, and I'll be honored to share my insights on this topic, digital procurement success stories for private sector. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So friends, the integrated commerce ecosystem, which we call as ICE landscape, that is basically a framework. The goal of this particular framework is to connect all the modules and improve the experience of business as well as the customers, connecting and coordinating all the components to create an unified system. So if you can see here, the interfaces which we cover here is the web, the tablet, WhatsApp, mobile APIs, and we cater to the needs of the corporate as well as the vendors. So the platform that transformed this particular solution or the ICE framework we use is Purple Fabric and iTurmeric, which is basically a low-code, no-code platform that basically helps the customers to design their own solutions, signature solutions, Composite, and Purple Fabric having 88 expert agents that helps the customer to do what they need. It is basically purposeful and contextual. So if you can see here, the building blocks, sourcing, discovery, purchase, contract, and receiving. So you cover all the L0, L1 modules which you can think of in a source to pay cycle, starting from your planning, vendor assessment, category management, risk management, budget management, brand management, template management. In discovery phase, you have product management, service management, purchase acquisition, demand aggregation, RFI, UI, RFP, RFQ, negotiations. In purchase function, we have local purchase, import purchase, catalogs, compare and buy, subscription, rate contract, reverse auction, L1 buying. QCBS is quality and cost-based selection, forward auction. We have under contracts, review, negotiation, acceptance, amendments, cancellations. And in receiving, we have goods received, bill of materials, logistics management, where we go to the last mile, connecting to the logistics partner through digital technology. In terms of your invoicing payments, we have payment, bill deductions, processing, approval, receiving refunds, reconciliations, and adjustments. So these are the lower block is the auxiliary services or the building blocks on which this particular ICE framework rests, having alerts, notifications, reconciliations, buyer onboarding, vendor onboarding, profile management, document briefcase. For example, a supplier has submitted certain bids. For every bid, he will not be interested to submit same kind of documents. The system would automatically fetch those documents, stitch it together to the corresponding bid, and submit to the client. So this is the beauty of document management system or the briefcase we tell. Regulatory compliance, the portal is integrated with the government portals to have that KYC, KYP compliance necessary done. It's workflows driven analytics and reports that gives a single source of truth and a real-time information to the organizations. It supports multilingual, multi-currency, multi-time zone functionality, having organizational hierarchy, preferences, content management, and the taxation facilities. So this is a nutshell about the integrated commerce ecosystem that drives this particular portal. So the problem areas in corporate procurement or the private sector, what we have envisioned, this is which this particular transformation in the procurement landscape which we are thinking of are basically the same or the common to every industry, like complex purchase acquisition approval process, inconsistent procurement methods, manual onboarding of new vendors, siloed procurement by departments, manually entered procurement data, invoice to PO variability, auditability, traceability, and regulatory compliances, lack of integration between procurement systems. Because systems are there, but they work in silos without communicating with each other. That is not able to give a single source of truth to the management. Now, coming to the procurement user journey, using our artificial intelligence. So that talks about right product at right price and right delivery from the right vendor. So if you start the user journey with the user management system, onboarding of sellers, buyers, then your purchase acquisition marketplace for the product and price discovery. After that, the bid publishing happens where the vendors, they participate in the bid, their technical evaluation, financial evaluation happens, and then you have the ranking done for them, do the negotiations with the vendors, and then finally shortlist a vendor to assign a PO. Post the PO process, you have GRN process where this goods are received at your locations, consigned locations. A GRN is generated, then the invoice billing process happen. We have APX, accounts payable invoice automation, that basically takes care of three-way matching of the invoice that is generated with the supplier invoice, with the PO, and with the GRN as well. And this talks about the invoice collection from the vendors, data extraction using artificial intelligence, data validation, and approval workflow. And accordingly, the invalidated invoice are being sent to the payment authorities for making the payments. And the vendor portals basically helps the vendors to get registered, have their credentials done, RFQ, PO visibility through them, invoice upload, invoice tracking, query management. Sometimes what happens to the vendors, they do not have the visibility of what's happening on the purchase order, what's happening on my invoice, where is the payment, why the payment has been deducted. So the vendors can get all those information through this particular supplier management portal, which extensively uses artificial intelligence. Now, these are some of the artificial intelligence AI expert agents that basically tries to streamline the procurement process. Where if you talk about the procurement planning agent, that basically generates intelligent procurement plan, recommends it to the customer, benefit from the collaborative filtering, product affinity, gain price comparison and cost saving insights. In the catalog approving agent, it reduces the listing rejection rates by 40%. You have supplier assessment agent, which basically streamlines the compliance checks, simplify the verification process. Incident inspection agent that identifies the key concerns and evidence, verify supporting documentation, prepare clear and factual commentary. In anomaly detecting agent that basically real-time detects the abnormal activity or the calculation between the buyers and sellers, empower the procurement officers to find the right price and ensure the policy compliance is ensured. And the key benefits to the buyers are many, but I've listed down basics. Our experience talking to a few corporates, private sector customers, the end-to-end system to handle all procurement needs, contextual and AI-driven search, compare buy facility, AI-enabled conversational commerce agent for identifying correct context, online order process and management, dispatch delivery, invoice acceptance and payments, bunching for products and services, automate manual tasks, and streamline workflows, resulting in significant time and reduction in procurement. Multi-consignee, multi-procurement mechanisms, price trend history, and overall, at the end of the day, what a CPO or a CIO would look at, achieve the cost saving of 10 to 15% through optimized processes for the organization. That would be his KPI. Now coming to the supplier management or the vendor portal landscape. So we basically divide the challenges under two categories. One is the process level challenges. The other one is the system level challenges. Now coming to the process level challenges. So the basic challenges on process level which we face are manual vendor onboarding, setup time and slow approval process, lack of standardization, inadequate record keeping, limited use of technology, and late payment penalties. Coming to the system challenges which we have, like outdated software, limited automation, inadequate security, non-compliance, auditability, and scalability. So basis that, what we have developed this business architecture to streamline the vendor portal exchange, covering this particular functionalities like vendor registration, registration by invite, self-registration by user, seller invite, vendor credentials, profile management, user approval, RFQ, PO visibility, RFQ, PO creation, publishing, PO upload, transaction listing, transaction acceptance on RFQ and PO, then the RFQ evaluation reward, RFQ visibility and invoice upload, RFQ participation history, acceptance, invoice upload, invoice status tracking, dashboards, administration dashboards, vendor dashboard, buyer dashboards, integration through via SMS, email, ERPs, OTPs, and APX. As I've already talked about, accounts payable invoice automation, notification through SMS, emails, and query management. So this is the solution overview that I have already covered in a couple of slides where the vendor onboarding, RFQ modules, PO modules, and invoice modules. This is the end-to-end automation process that helps the vendors get onboarded. They do the self-data upload, RFQ creation happens, then they participate in the RFQ, the PO upload and acceptance happens, invoice uploading happens, and the invoice receipts, and thereby the reports and dashboards are available both to these vendors as well as to the buyers to have a single source of truth as well as a real-time management of the functions. The key also, we consider not only the buyers, sellers are equally important in our ecosystem. So we also take care of the key benefits for the sellers that we try to derive through this particular platform. One-stop shop for bids, auction, RFQ, and product services, vendor and product ratings and reviews, offering management, price talks, variants that can be changed basis opportunities and market conditions, open API to integrate their ERP for order management, comprehensive view for the entire procurement cycle from PO creation to invoice processing, final payment, easy access to working capital and supply chain finance. So in a way, we also integrate to the banks and the financial institutions. So in case sellers want the working capital finance or supply chain finance, that they also can get the benefit out of this portal. So all these things are integrated to one ecosystem that gives the benefits to buyers as well as the sellers. So I'm open for questions. If any, I hope I have addressed this particular topic in detail. Over to you, Annie. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saumya. It would be really great if you could answer this question for the audience. So the question is how AI tools are trustable and reliable in terms of provided information for screening.
Yeah, so I have already covered this in one of my slides on the AI expert agents. So out of those 88 AI expert agents which we have in Purple Fabric, so for the supplier assessment, the AI expert agent which we use, so they do all the compliance checks, the history checks, and also where buyer need not worry about the history of the suppliers, how creditable they are, how credit worthy they are, because we have integration with all the government portals, with the compliance agencies. So whatever supplier the portal would suggest, they would be creditable in terms of their delivery timelines, in terms of their quality of product. And it is not only during the onboarding process, during the subsequent process also, we get the feedback from the stakeholders, be it the consignee, the store operators, the plant operators, and the purchase guys. They also give their feedback that how this particular supplier has fared over a contract cycle in terms of supplying good quality material, in terms of supplying materials in time and all, and that gets captured in the system. So the AI tool, expert agent, helps the buyer to decide whom to go ahead. Even if a supplier is come L1 in the ranking, they need not go for the L1 vendor if the creditability is not there, if the rating is not good. So it can also suggest that you can go for L2, where L2 would be asked to match the price with L1, and they can decide on it.
Thank you for such a detailed clarification. Can we squeeze in one last question very quickly before we are off on a lunch break? So my final question here would be like, how can digitalization can be connected with suppliers as they might have different system or no system at all?
So this particular portal, which you have seen, the supplier management portal, we have built it basically thinking EMAG.ai principles, which basically breaks the complex problems to its core. It's not that we have only created it for mid-size or the large enterprises. We have thought about them. We also have a mobile app that would be handy for them. Those who do not have that infra to have a particular portal or a system in place, they can use the mobile app to participate in some of the RFQs, to see the status of the payments, see the status of their POs, invoices, and all those stuff. And we also have a business operations team, business facilitation team that basically trains the buyers, the sellers, get acquainted to the system. That's a part of the change management process. So some people, they fear the technology in embracing the technology, but technology is not there to make their life complex. It is there to make their life simple. So our team, technology team plus business operation team helps them to get onboarded, use the technology, and start getting the benefit out of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for being such a sport of answering all the questions so quickly.